Hey LinkedIn, I'm Pete from Love and Respect.
And I'm Juan Carlos.
We're here to tell you, you stopped so abruptly.
Yeah.
So we wanted to share some stories of how we dealt with personal stress and anxiety as individuals, but also as leaders of creative teams to help our teams out, our producers and our creatives. And one thing we want to talk to you about today is floating, sensory deprivation tanks, and changed my life and our team's lives. And this guy is the one who brought it into
Many years ago, roughly when we started at Nickelodeon, about a year into it, Pete and I were both in Los Angeles to look after a really nice shoot that we had. We had big ambitions, and I noticed always. I noticed this guy was a little stressed, and after a couple of conversations, I realized that the shoot had nothing to do with it. It was more about extraneous situations that he was dealing with back at work, and I just politely asked him if he'd be open-minded to something really out of the norm that could help us with our mutual stresses. And what did you say?
I said yes, but if he had said, will you get naked on a work trip and get into a tank of water for 4 hours, I probably would have said no.
And to top, I said to him, well, listen, we need to get out there early. You have to be able to meet me downstairs in the lobby of the Viceroy Hotel at 5 a.m., I think it was, right?
Yeah.
And
if you know anything about me, you know that I'm always on time.
So he actually showed up on time for that one, which was blew my mind. No, but with that in mind, we proceeded to drive over to Venice Beach in this little outdoor mall right on the Venice boardwalk. I took time to tell Pete, hey, look, you're gonna meet this guy named Crash. He literally wears this reflector sunglasses, even if it's dark. I'm gonna take you into a very raw facility with 2 rooms. And basically I said, listen, whatever this guy says, just come along. Just promise me you're not going to run out of the place. You're going to be open-minded about this, right?
Yep.
And you didn't know any better.
No, I'm open-minded about lots of things. But we met Crash. He was just as he described him. Crash was among many things that he did. I believe he was a roadie, or he did the soundboard for Metallica on tour and other bands. He was just rattling off all the rules and things before getting into the tank, and told us that it was going to change our lives because it was our first float, and it's a trip in your own head.
It really is. And just to describe the situation is 2 rooms, 2 showers, all separate. You basically take your clothes off. You shower to make sure you get rid of all the stuff in your body, and then you open the chamber, and what do you see? Like a 1.5 feet of liquid?
Yeah, like maybe just under 2 feet of it's a super saturated Epsom salt solution, and so you float. I've never been to the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is a super saturated. You can float there, and it's very much the same thing. And it's supposed to recreate almost being in the womb. It's amazing. You just feel weightless, and it's fantastic. And it's body temperature.
Yeah, and from a scientific standpoint, what you experience right when you go into the chambers, at least for me, it was the voices. Yeah, did you ever get the voices at the beginning?
I'm not going to tell you what my trip's like.
Yeah, that is very personal, actually.
You hear voices. It usually takes me about half an hour before I get above the noise. If you're a hiker or a runner, you might know that phrase, getting above the noise, when you kind of get into the zone where you're just doing, you're not thinking, and your brain is like quieted the inner monologue, if you have an inner monologue. Mm-hmm. I just found out a lot of people don't, which is interesting. Different posts. Anyway, for me, after that 30 minutes, then my head kind of separates from my body and I'm floating in space. I can't describe it any other way. It's just an amazing feeling.
In a very zen state of meditation. And I don't know about you, Pete, but there have been times when I've fallen asleep inside the tank.
I fall asleep all the time. And then I think I'm awake, but I'm still in a dream. And then I wake up. It's crazy.
And then on that specific day, I remember the argument we had when we both came out of the chambers practically at the same time. And we were going to go pay. And then the only way we could agree on terms was that it would be paid forward. So I went ahead and paid for the first one, and then subsequently you took our
production, and then he paid the next way, and the next person, just like that. It became a ritual for the people on the team that wanted to do it.
And then that led the way to other things like breathwork meditation, which is another video down the line, and other fun things that you can apply into your culture. And again, it's not for everybody, but for those of us who do this type of practicing, it's very powerful.
So we're curious, what are you doing for your team to manage stress or anxiety or just burnout, or just giving them a break to open their mind and their senses in a different way? let us know in the comments, and we'll keep the conversation going.